guys, welcome to another episode of What? Konvos with Kiki. I'm your host, Kiki. This is a podcast where we're just going to have candid conversations with topics ranging for just about anything, okay? It is what it is. I just want to say thank you for listening. And so let's get into today's episode. So, you guys know this segment is called Listen. That means I either found something online that spoke to me where I was like, you know what, that resonated. I believe that. Listen. Okay. So for today, listen comes from actually the merch I just received today. It's from that chick Angel. I cannot say it, but I love it. Okay. I love her intro and everything. She is just multi-talented. She's also the co-host of Here's the Thing podcast with Kev on Stage. She has her own podcast with her husband, Tank, and it's called Is This Gonna Cause an Argument? I had to think about that for a minute. I don't know why. But anyway, she also has her own vlog channel and on YouTube, That Chick Angel. Type it in, find her. Anyway, so she came out with new merch and I received it today. I have it on today too. It says I am enough. Anyway, there's a little card that comes in and it's like the perfect card. And when I read it, I said, listen. So here we go. It says, hello, Queen. Thank you so much for your support of I Am Enough, Part 1 collaboration with Life's Journey. It is my desire to spread the message of self-love and dismantle the notion that you aren't qualified to carry out the purpose God has put in each of us. You are enough, and don't let anyone tell you differently. Peace and blessings, that chick Angel. Listen, this couldn't come at a perfect time, like a perfect time, because in all honesty, the past couple of weeks that I've been having, I needed that reminder of I am enough. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the merch. Here's her earrings. It says I am enough. They're so cute. I love the color. I tried to match my lip with the color. And then also the shirt says I am enough. Listen, I am enough. So let's go on to talk about today's topic. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell y'all what I'm drinking on. Excuse me. I'm actually drinking on a good H2O today. Some good water. I'm trying to stay hydrated. I'm trying to do better. I worked out earlier, so I know I need to replenish. And so H2O. This is a 24 ounce, I guess, mason jar. And I try to drink 3 of these a day. I try. It's the afternoon, and this is just my first one. So bear with me. But this episode, okay, we're going to talk about people pleasing. And so I came to this conclusion, so to speak, is because for the past, 4 episodes, I've kind of let you in my journey and kind of where I'm at now. So from stepping out of my comfort zone, aka doing this podcast, thank you for listening, by the way, to realizing that I had a fear of success, but we're working past it, we're working through it, and then being overwhelmed with work and just everyday life and realizing that I just needed to decompress. So I kind of showed you a little bit of how I do that. And so I thought it would be good to talk about the beginning of this journey. Guys, listen. I don't know if many of you know that I also started to write a blog, but as I said before, writing a blog was getting a little daunting for me just because I'm not one of those that like to write like that. Just saying, hey, nothing wrong with writers out there. I applaud y'all. Keep going. But for me, I was like, I'd rather just talk it out. And so, podcast, okay? But what I do want to do is go back and read the blog, and then I want to talk about it. And this was literally the start of my journey to where I am today. And me doing this, I don't know, the finding of Kiki. The journey of Kiki is what I call it. And so, okay, so the title of this blog, and if you want to find it, it's on my website, thekiarashade.com. That's where it's found. It's under, I believe it's under Konvos with Kiki. And then I have like my podcast as well as my blog. And so this was back in, the date says August 8th of 2017. But I'm pretty sure I initially wrote this in 2015. Because 2015 is when things started to shift in my life. Okay. And and I remember that year because Andy Mineo came out with Uncomfortable, the album. That album was like the theme to my life at that moment. Ended up seeing him in concert. It was bomb. Like it was just, listen, it was just the year that I needed. I needed that album and I needed that concert. So here's what the blog is titled. It's titled Friendship and Freedom. Oh, okay. We about to do. Oh, I just dropped my pen. Okay. Anyway, we about to do this. Okay. You guys ready? Ah, I don't know if I am, but let's do it. So I started off asking myself these questions. What did I do wrong? Was I that bad of a friend? Did you not respect our friendship? Did you not respect me? Or has it always been like this? Those are just a few questions that I had gone through my head when I thought about my friendships, even relationships that have shifted or ended. I can't help but to think I had put in all this effort, all types of emotions, actions, efforts in myself, even myself, into a friendship that when it ended, did I not do enough? You see, I cherish my friendships like they were my own blood, my family. Therefore, when I'm challenged, tested, or even hurt by my friends, I take it to heart. Did you not respect me enough to know I wouldn't do that to you? Well, a shift happened in my friendships, and it seemed to happen all at once, which, when change happens all at once, it can be traumatizing. I lost a few, became not as close to some, and got closer to others. I was devastated because this was my crew, this was my squad, this was my clique. You know, all the words. Whatever else they're calling it nowadays. Ooh, I sound old. Okay. But that was my family. But it ended just out of nowhere. I was hurt. I was disappointed. I was ashamed. I was even embarrassed. But most of all, I found out who I was and who I am. It took some time to reflect on all these questions, but I was before the Lord, even asking Him those same questions. I mean, think about it. Who else would know the answer to these questions better than the one who created us? Of course, God didn't answer right away. Side note, sometimes God doesn't answer right away, not to hurt you or leave you in the mix to figure it out on your own. I have learned He doesn't answer right away because He wants to build your faith in Him. Are you fasting? Are you searching Him with all of your heart? Are you diving into His Word? Build your faith, my child. Ooh, I was talking to myself. Okay. Whew. After doing all these things, it was one night while I was in the shower, I began to cry because the Lord answered my prayers. I promise. God answered prayers at the weirdest time, but it's always a time where He knows when you will be listening and you will be still. When the Lord spoke His answer to me, it was simple. Because you weren't able to be who I called you to be. Cue all of the waterfalls. Just cue it. Just put every waterfall, crying emoji, everything you could think of, just place it right there. That was me. I cherish my friendship so deeply that I couldn't be who God designed me to be. You see, we get so caught up in trying to make sure we're doing the right thing, making sure others don't get offended by our actions, etc. In other words, we get so caught up in pleasing others that we forget who we are. We forget that we are our own individual. We forget that it's okay to have your own voice, especially when it's spirit led. We basically forget our own identity. I know what you're thinking. Well, shoot, I'm not pleasing anybody. I am my own person. I don't care what others think. I thought those same exact thoughts until the Lord revealed on different occasions to me where I was pleasing others over Him. Ask yourself, have you ever made a decision in order to keep the peace amongst your friends? Or I cherish the friendship more than to be petty about these small issues? Or maybe you just don't want your friends to get offended because you know how they would react. I've had all of these thoughts plus more, but they're all nothing but excuses. Sadly, I even quoted scripture to justify my excuses. But there came to a point where I understood my identity, my value. Shoots, even my worth, okay? I understand not everyone in my corner was rooting for me or had my best interest. I found out that if I didn't agree with them, I wasn't being a good friend. Yo, how controlling was that? To make a long post short, I found out that I was being hurt by broken people, the same people I was trying to keep peace with. During my time with the Lord, I found out all of these things. I knew something had to change, or this horrific pattern would keep occurring. The pleasing others to keep them happy and at peace. The hardest thing I had to do was to completely distance myself from it all. Was it easy? No. Did I cry? Sure did. Was the Lord with me? He most certainly was. And do I regret it? Nah. Once you become free from your bondage and feel a new level of freedom, there's no urgency to go back to what you left. My mindset has been changed, and I'm walking in the freedom that Jesus gave His life for. It's a great feeling, and I pray everyone gets to that place in their lives. Yes, I pray for the friends I lost and the ones I gained during this season. It takes time, but being free is so worth it. Woo! All right. But that's literally what I wrote in 2015. Didn't post it until 2017, but that's what I wrote in 2015. That's literally how the journey to finding myself started. And so I actually wanted to dive a little bit deeper into this. Um, where do I begin? There's so many things. There's so many things. Okay, so how this journey started was that revelation I got. So during this time, I didn't know. Well, I wouldn't say didn't know. There was during this time there was a lot of events leading up to, you know what, I might need to start distancing myself because this isn't getting healthy. It's not healthy for me, especially when I got the revelation of you're people pleasing, you're pleasing others, you're making sure others are okay over yourself. How you what? um and so it was one of those of you feel drained, you feel drained because you're trying to please others over yourself. You're trying to make sure that you stay in the good graces of a set of friends that and a set of people that you are in relationships with that you don't need in your life because they're not being beneficial to you. They're not encouraging you. They're not uplifting you. They're just using you. And so that whole revelation, man, when I tell you, shook me to the core. As like I said, I was in the shower, got the answer, was crying. Right. I couldn't hold my emotions back because I think at that moment I realized I am people pleasing. I am trying to keep the peace. I am not voicing my opinions. There was a lot, and I always said during that time in my walk with the Lord that a lot of my quote unquote issues or sins or um what's another word, just all of the things that you typically see in the church, like all of that wasn't external because a lot of my battles, so to speak, were internal. And I think that came from, I believe it came from just, I don't know, maybe a lot. I think it kind of maybe stemmed from childhood. I'm pretty sure it does. It stems from childhood, being the only child, all of that. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm not the only child, but I was raised as an only child. So I know that took a lot. Oh, that plays a lot into how I even deal with my friendships to this day. And so that was the beginning of the journey I'm on now. And when I had to distance myself from it, it was difficult because it's like I put so much effort into it. And so, like when you put so much into something and to just let it go, it's like, wait a minute. Hold up. We doing what now? After all that I just did, now I have to, oh man, all that went through my mind. And it was really difficult. So putting all the effort into a friendship, into a relationship, it was just like, whoa, okay. So I need to, okay. But it's also realizing that I was slowly losing myself because now my identity was tied into, oh, you're such and such friend. Or, oh, it's, whatchamacallit. Or it's because, oh yeah, I know because you're such and such, blase, blase, blah. And realizing like, oh, well, that's kind of where my identity is tied to. It's never been, oh yeah, Kiki, hey girl, or hey Kiki, or just knowing me. It was always I was associated with someone else. And it takes a toll. I think when I got to the point to where like all of these many um incidents that occurred during this time, it just literally came to a head and I was like, I don't know who I am. And when the Lord revealed that day to me in the shower, I was just like, I really don't know who I am. And outside of my friends, outside of my family, outside of these relationships, outside of work, outside of school, who am I? And I had to ask myself those questions because I'm over here pleasing everybody, making sure their needs are met. No, if, sidebar, don't know if you remember, was it last week's episode, the week before, where one of my listens was my love language is helping others win. And so that's something that I enjoy. I'm better at it now because back then realizing helping people win doesn't mean I run myself over trying to help somebody else win. No. It don't work like that, okay? It does not work like that. So I knew back then that I enjoy helping people succeed. But in helping people succeed, I was pleasing their needs. If they needed something, if I could provide, I was there. They needed emotional support, I was there. They needed prayer, I was there. They needed just anything, I was there. Okay? If I could do it, I was there. And so I got wrapped into doing that and so caught up in doing that that I literally lost who I was. Don't ever want to go back to that time. But looking back and also reading this blog, it helped me understand that where people pleasing come from, which is from my childhood, which I know exactly what it is, but I don't want to talk about that right now at this moment. Maybe on a later podcast. But how, and I didn't realize it came from my childhood to maybe like a year or two ago. But I knew I had to break people pleasing. And so for me to break the people pleasing, and why I find it so important, especially during that time for me to break it, was because I was emotionally drained. I was mentally drained, physically drained. I was just drained. And it was almost like I'm just tired. That was like the most I could say during that time of I'm just tired. I was tired. People pleasing caused me to be tired. And because I was like so gung ho for the Lord, reading his word daily, I was like on that kick, right? That I was like, but Lord, your word says, you don't want any discord amongst your brethren. So let me make peace with my brothers and sisters. Let me do this. Let me do that. And not realizing that the Lord's like, if you can make peace, make peace. It's not if you can't make peace. So, I guess I just skipped over that little part in the Bible where he says, if you can. Because if you can't make peace, then you don't have to stay. And me, I'm over here trying to make peace and compromise and do all these things, but wasn't getting any return. So I was constantly emptying myself, which is what people pleasing do. Let's look this up real quick. People pleasing. Let's see if there's like a legit like psychology today type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know I ain't gonna hold y'all. I like psychology today. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I like it. Let me take that back. I know what psychology today is. I don't know what it is about me that I like it, but I like it. Okay. Anyway, so this is how it says your 10 signs you're a people pleaser. Now I knew all this before looking this up. Okay. You pretend to agree with everyone. Listen, I agreed just to agree because I didn't want no argument. I didn't want, I don't know how many times I've done that. Okay. I didn't want any argument. I didn't feel like fussing with nobody. I just, okay, whatever you say. 2, You feel responsible for how other people feel. Listen, listen. That's where I became emotionally drained because I felt like, oh, I'm responsible for that. Or they come to me with their issue. Whew, we're not going to talk. Okay. 3, you apologize often. Let's just pause for a moment. And let's just say how many times I've said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, my bad. That's not my fault. Or my fault. My bad. See, I just said it again. Because I made a mistake, I said my bad. My fault. My fault. My bad. I'm sorry. Well, excuse me. I didn't mean it that way. Um, all of the above. Okay. All of that. And I did a lot of that. Woo. Okay. You feel burdened by the things you have to do. This is where I said earlier I became drained. Everything that I did at that point, I was like, I'm just tired. And I believe what kept me going during that time was the new set of friends that I was getting closer to. So they wouldn't have been new. Some were new, like brand new, like I don't know you at all. And some we were acquaintances, like we were, because we hung around the same people. So we were acquaintances. But when all of this started to shift and I got this revelation, certain events leading up to the shifting, it was a lot. Okay. Some of those acquaintances are now my best friend to this day. So I've gotten closer to some. And I believe if it wasn't for them pouring into me and uplifting me and reminding me who I am, even when I didn't realize I didn't know who I was at that moment, that's what helped me. I'm a firm believer till this day. That's what helped me. 5 is you can't say no. Part of that draining that I had was I always said yes to people. I was a yes person. And that's why I feel like I was being used because I would say yes. Didn't say no a lot. 6, you feel uncomfortable if someone is angry at you. Hence why I said yes. Whatever you say, go along with the flow. My bad. I'm sorry. All of that. Because in my head, I was trying to keep peace. Okay. I was trying to keep the peace. Because the Lord tells us to live in peace. But he says, if you can. Okay. 7, you act like the people around you. I wouldn't say that was me. No, I wouldn't say that. I maybe would have put my goals aside for others, but I don't think I would. Well, then again, I didn't know who I was, so maybe I was acting like them. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know who I was. My identity was tied in them. So maybe that. You know what? I probably was acting like the people around me. Okay, let me keep going. 8, you need praise to feel good. I feel like yes, to a certain degree. During that time, yes. Now I'm way better. Way better. Because of the friends that I have now actually pouring into me, letting me know who I was. Like, Kiki, outside of them, that's not you. That part. 9, you go to great lengths to avoid conflict. See, told y'all. Psychology Today said it. I did what I could because I ain't got time to be arguing with you. I ain't got time to confront you. I just ain't got time. It's too much. But it's people pleasing. You don't admit when your feelings are hurt. Listen. That was 10. You don't admit when your feelings are hurt. You know how many times my friends at that time hurt me and I just wouldn't say anything? Because one time I said it. Go back to 9. There was conflict. there was conflict. And to not have that conflict again, I was just like, whatever. I'm not going to do that. But that's not healthy in any type of relationship. That's not healthy at all. All because I was people pleasing. No more. We delivered. Amen. So, during my revelation and what the Lord told me of, he had to, like I said, stuff occurred, and us, my friends at the time, they weren't always around anymore. And I, like, not only realizing I needed to start distancing myself, like, God helped me out with that. He was like, I'm going to remove them in general. And literally, that's what happened. I wasn't around them all the time. I wasn't always talking to them. And it helped me realize who I was. During that time of when removal happened and the revelation, it was literally like I could I felt lighter. I felt like I could see clearer, you know what I'm saying? Even though I got some glasses. I felt like I could see clearer. I felt like I could even hear the voice of the Lord clearer. Like it was clear. Okay? That's the best way I could describe it. And I feel like because I had that sense of clarity of, you know what? I need to realize who I am. Let me look inward because I've already been told you are people pleasing and you can't be who I called you to be. Then it's like, oh, okay, well, let's work on this. Let me continue out this who is Kiki journey. And so for me, I find this journey to be like one of the most important ones that I've been on because I'm knowing me, how I'm built, how I'm wired, realizing that I still have those tendencies to people please because I don't like conflict. Okay. I have a hard time saying no sometimes. And um selfish is a new word to me. And as a people pleaser, selfish is something that's vague. Like it's no, that ain't what we do. And um even at that time of me people pleasing, and it was all the way around. Like it wasn't just a set of friends. This particular blog, it was showed me my friendships and my relationships, but it was all the way around. Like I said, with work, school, um, church, everything. I was pleasing others. And so even though I thought it was the right thing to do. So it's like, I can't be selfish because selfish, prideful, all these things that were going through my mind of what I was taught by the church. I was like, that's not godly. That's not, God doesn't do that. He doesn't want us to be selfish. He wants us to give. He wants us to do these things, but not realizing that I can't do all these things if I haven't fed myself first. How am I supposed to help somebody else understand who they are if I don't know who I am? How am I supposed to help someone else fulfill their goals and fulfill their dreams when I'm like, I don't even know my own? Like, I just, ugh. And so I think about the scripture where sometimes I think we take out of context. And, oh, dang. I wish I could remember exactly where it is, but I don't know where it is. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna put it on the screen where exactly it is. But it says Jesus, one of the disciples, I forgot which one, is asking Jesus about the commandments, or was he asking them about the commandments? Anyway, Jesus says the greatest commandment is this, okay? It's to love God, love others, but you love others as you love yourself. So this is where I feel like I try to justify. I'm supposed to be loving others. I'm supposed to be doing this. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Jesus, you said it in your word. This is what I'm supposed to do. But not realizing that, no, it's the only way you can love others is first you love God, then you love yourself, then you take what you have and give it to others. I was trying to do the opposite. I was putting people before me, all these things. Got to the point, put them before God. Oh, that kind of hurt. Okay, all right. I ain't want to say it. I ain't want to say it, but I said it. But even put them before God, and God's like, "Hey, you out of order, okay? You love me. You love others as you love yourself. If you're not loving yourself and you're not fulfilling yourself and you're not pouring into yourself, how can you do that to other people?" I had a whole sit down, okay? Whole sit down. And so and so when I had that sit down, came to that revelation, I started working on me, okay? Kiki started working on Kiki. So um I found that to be most important. Okay, my relationship with the Lord, and then me. Selfish was a new word. Okay, it was so foreign that when I said no and when I chose myself, it was weird. It was so weird, but it was needed. It was so needed. So, guys, in my editing, I realized let me split this into two parts. So we're going to end part one here and then come back next week for part two to hear the rest of the story, to hear how I found myself and who I am. And so, with that being said, you guys have a great week. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye, guys.